Hello class, my presentation is on healthy lifestyles for children. Health-related problems in Cathedral City are children consuming unbalanced meals that are high in fats and sugars. This is easily observed if you spend any time in the cafeteria when children are having lunch in Cathedral City. Children not meeting the recommended amount of daily exercise due to too much time spent watching TV, playing video games, or playing on phones. They're more, so most of their time is spent inside rather than being active and being outside. Early exposure to alcohol and drugs leading to addiction, increased amount of children with oral decay that is witnessed when you observe these children. Background and significance, 21.8% is below poverty level in this community. There is a safety concern, 1 in 356 chance of being a victim of a violent crime, and there are known gangs in this community. Stakeholders that I spoke with stressed the importance of proper nutrition in the youth that will lead to healthy habits for a lifetime. Stakeholders stress the need for influence children to get active. Like I mentioned, a lot of children are spending their time indoors on video games, playing on computer phones, not active like they used to be. 28.6% to 30.7% of the youth in California drink alcohol. Underage youth drinking alcohol and starting at younger ages and making this a routine activity. Studies have shown alcohol influence your ability to make good choices. The region of your brain that alcohol influences your ability to make good choices, also your impulsive behavior, and leads to bad consequences. Healthy People 2020 health objectives: nutrition, physical activity, and obesity. Educating children on healthy, balanced diets and ways to stay active. Educating children on different food choices that they can eat from each food group to have balanced meals rather than eating the processed meals, and fun ways that they enjoy that they can do even at home or on their own to stay active rather than being on the couch watching TV. Injury and violence prevention: decrease violence by addressing alcohol consumption in the youth that influence their choices, that leads to violent behaviors and other bad choices. Preventing alcohol consumption can avoid addiction and lead to happier, healthy lives. Improve social determinants: educate the youth on how the choices they make today influence the rest of their lives. Educating them that staying in school and having a plan for their life, even at this young age, is important. Oral health: educate children on good oral hygiene habits. For instance, making sure they're brushing their teeth at least 3 times a day for 2 minutes at a time, making sure they're getting all areas of the teeth. And visiting their dentist twice a year. The needs assessment. Step 1, I interviewed key stakeholders in the community. Karen is a school nurse that works with children every day in the community and discussed the main concerns she has with me and she feels that need to be addressed to make changes in our community. Gwen is another nurse that works with high school students and stressed her concern about the alcohol consumption at young ages that's making a difference in a negative way. Step 2 is completing a community windshield survey. Gathered information through driving through the community, visually seeing what's in the community, what things are influencing the community in a positive and negative way, and what can be addressed to make a difference. Gathered information through interviews with the community members that have been living in this community for a long time and know what is a problem and what is not, and what can be done and what can be changed. Spent time observing the youth. I volunteered at Sunny Sands Elementary School and volunteered at Cathedral City High School. I spent time with these children seeing how they interact, seeing what they're eating, seeing what, asking questions on what they like to do, and was able to come up with some more information. A theoretical framework, I followed the 8 phases to plan the needs that needed to be addressed. Define the ultimate outcome, address the main problems, broke down the problem seen and what the main desired outcome that will make a difference in this community. Identify the main issues of concern. There are 4 issues that I spoke about earlier: nutrition, physical activity, oral health, violence, and alcohol consumption in the youth. Identify the factors that influence these behaviors, so lifestyle and responses to environment, through changes that can be made through behavior and lifestyle choices, giving them new positive habits they can form to live healthier lives. Identify the best practices using evidence-based practice. Through research, I was able to find what practices and teaching methods are successful in teaching youth. Implementation of the plan. These are the actual steps I took in educating this community in different ways. Process evaluation with a timeline. I set a timeline of when these educational interventions needed to be done to stay organized on my plan. The short-term objectives were that children could choose at least one food group from each of the 5 main food groups that they enjoy, and they would start to implement in their diet daily. And another short-term objective was each child being able to identify one activity that they would enjoy to stay active and be able to reach the recommended amount of daily activity for children, which is 60 minutes per day. The outcome evaluation is to improve the nutrition and physical activity in children. Education and practice. New behaviors will be encouraged to replace old bad habits. Balanced meals rather than fatty processed foods. Active activities rather than video games or TV. Ways to say no to alcohol for children would feel comfortable if offered alcohol through their friends. Oral hygiene, making sure they're brushing their teeth 3 times a day for at least 2 minutes each time. You can use a timer. The information needed for a healthy lifestyle will be achieved through education. Education is the main intervention here that can be easily accomplished by school nurses. They play a vital role in influencing children every day. The nurses will need to educate students regularly on healthy lifestyles, finding creative and fun ways to keep children interested and willing to learn. Interventions. Education can prevent obesity and other health-related issues. Repeated exposure to healthy foods increases the amount of consumption. Studies show that introducing new foods regularly to children will help them in consuming these foods. Empowering children by allowing them to pick a food from each food group that they enjoy increases its success. Budget and logistics. The cost to educate the youth is covered through the school district through the school nurse's salary. The school district already employs school nurses that do many things with the students, and implementing these interventions regularly would not affect the budget. It would be the same. It would just take some organization. The budget is minimal. The only materials needed are poster boards and markers to print some fun pictures for the kids to be interested in. The support is needed is from the school district, allowing nurses to focus on prevention in these areas that have been proven to make differences in people's lives. Organizational training can be achieved by having a meeting with all the school district nurses and developing a plan of intervention. The short-term goals would be to identify one food from each of the 5 main food groups. Children would verbalize one activity they can do at home for exercise. The goals were measured at the end of the presentation for success, and they were very successful. The long-term goal is to improve the balance of daily nutrition and activity level in elementary-aged children to promote long, healthy lives. This can be measured annually by checking students' BMIs and continuing to observe these children daily. Results and conclusion. The main goal is to promote healthy lifestyles in children by healthy diets, encouraging exercise, and alcohol-free. Problems that are encountered are approval by the school district, which is important, readiness from the children to learn, and attentiveness from the students. It's important to be creative and make it in a fun environment so these students are willing to learn on what you are presenting and see the importance of it. Future presentations need to be done regularly and should include the parents, either by allowing them to come in and watch these presentations or by sending out handouts would be a great idea. These are the references that I used when researching these topics that were useful in finding the information needed to complete my project. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Have a great day.